Yo, what's up, guys? Bravo Wajo here. As you guys can see, we got the tier list out. We made our tier list. It is Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list season. As of today is the 10th when I'm recording this. We're supposed to get that ban list no later than the 17th. So don't want to wait too late to get this out. Give you guys my thoughts and opinions on some of these cards. And we're just going in order here, as you guys can see. So let's get to it. First card, El Shaddai App Cologne. I don't think this is a card on a lot of people's radar. Honestly, a card that a lot of people don't think about. But I can honestly see this card getting banned. A lot of people feel like Windows is a big problem, but I don't feel like Shaddolls deserve to be punished where they can't use their ace in the whole card just because it's been splashed in a lot of other decks. And I feel like Hidden App Cologne will really fix that. It almost makes them have to hard draw Schism, so it's not really optimal anymore. So yeah, I don't, even though I do not think this will happen. I don't think this will happen, but I think it's like maybe like a 15-20% chance. I honestly don't see that happening at all. If anything, Window will get hit, but we'll see. Next card, Heavy Metalfoes Electromite. Well, we're gonna put that at 3. Cap, absolute cap. Stop, bro. That card can't come back ever. Ever again. Shouldn't have been printed. Cards way too broken in pendulums. 100% cannot happen. Non-negotiable. Cannot go. Next card on the list, Artifact Scythe. Um, I think I feel the same way about this card. A lot of people do, and we're gonna tell Artifact Scythe to pack his bags, bro. Um, this is I, I don't want to say a guaranteed hit because you just never know with Konami. You never have a clue. But I think this is pretty surefire. I think there are two surefire cards on this list, and I think this is one of them. I think this card has grown more and more oppressive with the release of DPE, because it is just making it super abusable. And if you're like you playing Phantom Knights or any card or any deck for that matter, but Phantom Knights is the one that's really making the combo to put this out consistently. Turn one. If you don't draw an out to this card, you just lose. Like you can't play unless you because all the top tier decks rely on the extra deck. Sword Soul, if you're in the mirror front my mirror match, like only viable strategies that don't rely on the extra deck, like Flunderies, and I know that's not getting a ton of play, but it's good. It doesn't Flunderies don't care about this, but all the top tier decks of the meta rely on the extra deck. And for this to be so easily accessible through a Dagda and DPE combo is wild, and I think this 100% goes. I think it's funny because a couple lists ago, Konami banned the Buster Dragon that Dragon Link made popular. They would equip it to like the DP or whatever, using U and carry and things like that. Not DP, but to their to one of the dragons on their field on their end board, and that card got hit immediately. So it goes to show that Konami knows that locking your opponent out of the extra deck isn't really fair. It's not really interactive. But for some reason, they have let Scythe stick around all this time, this whole time. But I think now that DP is literally in every deck, and Dagda's easy to make, and Anaconda's so easy to make, and this makes this card way too abusable. And I do think it will get out of here in this next list, hopefully. If there's one card I won't hit, the rest of these predictions can be so wrong. But if there's one prediction I want to be right, it is Artifact Scythe. Get it out. Next card is Emergency Teleport. This is currently at 2, and I think this is gonna get this freedom. I think this card is coming to 3. You know how Konami uses the semi-limited list outside of malicious. This was banned at one point, and then went to 1. It's now at 2, and I do think next list it will become to 3. Um, just give. I don't see anything oppressive coming from this card. I don't see anything crazy coming from this card. Just another extender really for a psychic type. There's no. I don't think it's any different than quick launch. Honestly, I mean I know the card pool is different. I know psychic's a lot broader in what it can search. I know quick launch just gets the rocket monster. But I still think it'd be fine. Also, Grand Creators has that punk archetype, that psychic based archetype coming out, and I'm sure Konami's gonna want people to want to support that in some type of way. So I think immersive teleport is the way that happens. So each other the three. Next, Tribegate Fractal. I do think if that bird deck gets hit or just a Tribegate strategy in general gets hit, it's gonna be Fractal, and I think it's gonna go to one just to hit the consistency. Last list they hit Tinky to one, which did something. It really kinda in this deck. Tinky only searched out Fractal, so instead of having 6 copies of Fractal, they only have 4, which I guess I don't think it was that impactful of a hit for this deck in general. But I think putting Fractal to one would be a pretty significant hit. I don't think it's going to cripple the deck or anything. It's just going to hit the consistency. I don't think this will be enough to stop the deck by no means, especially with the bird stuff. That bird stuff is so crazy. Um, Hand traps almost don't matter against that deck, bro. Unless it's at least low impact hand traps like Ash or like a Veiler or Imperm. Low impact hand traps just don't get the job done. And then I feel like you need a nib, and even then, with them really never having to commit a normal summon and them using Barrel Canary, it can still use Barrel Canary to get a card from the graveyard after nib. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. And then, but I do think it'll hinder it a bit. But I still think if this happened after this, it still be one of the best decks, if not the best deck. I think the deck's crazy. Next, we have Orcas Hardcore. I think we I think we test this card out. I don't think we go crazy put it at 3 or 2. I think we put it to 1 and see how it goes. Orpheus has has zero representation right now. Deck's not good. It's not good at all. Even as a rogue strategy, it's not very good because with decks like Tribegate running around, people are side deck. That's Lancia's in every side deck, and that as you know, hurts Orcas a whole lot. But I think Harpur will help the strategy for sure. I don't bring it back. I don't know why. Um, I think Harpur one is great. I think that'll help him out. Yeah, I think it'll help him out 100%. Just give him some life because Orcus has no life right now. It's just a really really bad deck, which sucks because about 2 years ago, Orcus was up there, one of the top decks of that format. Next, we have Salamangreat Gazelle. Mm. I'm a little biased here because I love Gazelle, and I would love to see Gazelle back in 3. Honestly, I would love to see full power Salamangreat back back in the swing of things. But honestly, I I think it stays at 1. I don't think they do that just yet. But I do think Salamander gets some help on the next list, and we'll get to that in a second. Next we have everybody's favorite card, everybody's favorite card, Imperial Order. Now, I said that Scythe I said if none of these predictions came true, and except for one, it'd be Scythe. Except for one, and I wanted to be Scythe, I might have lied. I need 2 of these to come true, bro. Get this card out of here, please. Please, please, please get this pack. Get out, please. This card is just not fair. Man, you play these games, you play these big combo decks, whatever, and they make the full combo with the 3 or 4 negates, and then on top of that, they flip the 1 off order. You can't do anything. Konami gave us these cards like what's Dark Ruler No More, and they gave us cards like Forbidden Droplets in order to answer these big boards, right? And but then you just have this cards that says no. It says that's absolutely not. Like it's I think it has to go 100%. I just think it's a win button. It's an automatic win button. I just played a game. I literally played a game the other day. Game three, I go first. I play Sword Soul, make my full Sword Soul combo, and I draw order off my Mogi, and that's and there was no doubt in my mind I'm losing that I'm winning that game. Like there's nothing he can do. I had what cards did I have? I had Baron, I had a Shisha, Blackout set, and an order. That's 4 disruptions. One cutting off all their traps. I mean all their spells. Sorry, with the order cutting off all their spells. The guy was playing Thunderies, and he literally opened a handful of spells, and there's nothing he can do. And I think, I think this card shutting off an entire entire card type is outrageous. And I know people bring up Royal Decree as being the same. Why does someone talk about Royal Decree? Come on, bro. It's 100% not the same. 100% not the same at all. Trap cards are so inherently slow in how the mechanic works and how they function. Royal Decree isn't as impactful. So please order Scythe, get them out of here. Next card we have Magical Meltdown. Um, I think this is a list where Alistair finally gets a bit of a check. This get we've been normal summoning Alistair for the past 5 years with no hit to it at all. I think this is the list where we get Meltdown the one, and I think that's fair. Honestly, I don't think the invoked engine is too broken. I don't think it's broken at all. I just think it's a good, solid engine, gets you to one negate and gives you follow up with the invocation, being able to add back to add certain things that way. But the most broken part about invoked is this invocation, with you not being able to respond to a chain that has the fusion summon with your fusion summons and cards, with your fusion summons not being able to be negated. Um, in the automatic invoke deck that run the DPE, they'll fusion destiny with this on field and on summon of the DPE they activate this effect, and your opponent can't respond to it because it's the same chain as the summon. And magical meltdown prevents them from responding to it. Just kind of broken. Not gonna cap. It's kind of a lot. But I think meltdown the one. Well, really, I feel like it's the most impactful hit you can have to the engine, and the engine is still very much alive. Honestly, next card on the list we have Masterpiece, uh, and we're gonna talk about these two cards together, because these seem to be the two cards that get the most popularity around this banlist season, around every banlist season, because these two cards have just a cult following of people that feel like that these cards should come back. And I think not. Don't even think about it, bro. Stop. Masterpiece cannot come back. Simply, it's simply because it's not even because of True Draco why this can't come back. This could be splashed in anything. It's probably better in other decks than it is in its own deck. A True Draco. And with it being a worm, it can be searched off emergence. I don't think so. Maxi. If I had another tier list that said that I should have another excuse me, I should have another tier that says cards shouldn't have been printed because it shouldn't have been printed. I never want to see this card in the format ever again. ever again. I don't think this card can come back. I don't think it can ever come back because if it were to come back, it can't just come back, right? It has to come back at three. So people and it would completely shift how we play Yu-Gi-Oh. It would completely shift deck building, the card, everything. It cannot. And most people are like, let's get it to one because I don't think putting it to. I think putting it to one is worse than having it at three because then you just get sacked, right? You just they draw maxi you because putting it at one doesn't really. It doesn't allow people to prepare for it, right? Because you almost don't respect it when it's at one because you don't. If you one card out of 40, you don't expect your opponent to see it. You can't plan for your opponent to see a one of. That's another reason why order's so terrible. But orders has to go. But anyway, we don't order. So it would have to be at three, and it would just I just don't think this card's very healthy for the game at all. And speaking of unhealthy for the game, oh my goodness, I personally have been clamoring for this since it was printed. I hate this card. I hate this card. I hate everything about it. I think it's so terribly unfair. But honestly, me personally, I want it banned. I want it out of here. I don't ever want to see it again. But realistically, I can see Konami putting this card to one. I can see them putting it to one. I I think if they put it to one, I want to ban. But I think if they put it to one, it'll kind of help the problem a bit. You don't have to worry about because once you out it, it's out. Your opponent can't do anything about it. Like, cause I understand Mystic Mind, right? In these decks that are maybe slower paced or things like slower paced, or you may fall behind the card advantage. You draw a Mystic Mind, and you can sit on it until you regain an advantage back. But but I feel like people sit on this card and they just sit there with no intentions on playing. They literally sit on it, and if you don't have an out, you lose. You lose. Now, granted, that could still be the case if it's at one and they see it, but games games two and three, you have your outs, and once it's outed, it's outed, and then we can play Yu-Gi-Oh from there. I think they put this card to one. I want it banned. I want this nestled right here next to order. I want you see he's reaching out for him, holding his hand, trying to bring him to the forbidden zone. But I think it goes to one. Next we have the dear servant. Um, I typically when they send my limit cards, they cards go from outside of malicious cards go from banned to one to semi limited then to three. Kind of like how I'm predicting with E-Telly here. But I think they go the opposite direction with Nadir Servant. Right now it's at three. I think they drop it down to two and see how it goes. And see if it hits the Dogmatic engine enough for their liking. I can honestly see this card going down to one in the future. As soon as I read this card, I knew it wasn't going to be at three for a very long time. This card is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This card is the reason why I feel like this card could possibly be hit. But I can see this card going to two and then eventually going to one. I don't think it's ban worthy. I think one would be just fine. Next, we have everyone's favorite card. I said that about order, but this is another hot topic card of the format. Arch Nemesis Protos. Um, as a Sword Soul player, I won't be biased here. I know how crazy Protos is, and I think Protos gets hit. I think Protos gets hit with the hammer. I feel like blind calling dark is it always. I feel like it always does something, especially with Fusion Destiny DPE in just about every deck. It cuts off it cuts off a whole engine in people's decks, honestly. And if you're playing against Phantom Knights and you call dark, that's game over. All their monsters are dark. They can't special summon any of them. That's a wrap. They can't do anything. And I just these three cards here don't allow your opponent to play Yu-Gi-Oh. They don't allow for any interaction. And I think in this one here, this one here, and I think any card that does that is just unhealthy for the game. Oh, and a card that I don't have up here that I should have up here, Harpy's Featherstorm, that trap card that the bird deck uses. Ban that too. Ban it too. I wish I had it up here. I'm sorry. Get it out of here. 100% get it out of here. Tell us to pack your bags. Deck. It literally turns off all your effects, and with it being a trap card, you unless you have a one-off red reboot, there's no way you can respond to it. No way. There's nothing you can do about it. I think that card has to go as well. Here we have Red MD. I think it's at one or two. I'm not sure. It come to three. It's been eroded. It's been made a hard once per turn effect, and so there's no reason for it to still be on the list at all. The errata fixes the brokenness of the card. Now it's just a good card instead of a ridiculous card. Salamangreat Circle. Like I alluded to earlier in the video, I did say the Salamangreats are gonna get some help, and I do think this is how they get it. I think Circle comes to three. I honestly do. I think Salas have been power crept a lot. I could be wrong, but from testing the deck, how where it is now against other decks in this meta, other decks in this meta, and reading the decks that are coming out, I don't think Silence can keep up anymore. And Nib is still a huge problem for him. It's still a huge problem. But I think Circle to three will help it out for sure. Help the consistency out for sure. Guarantee your Gazelle, best card in the deck, 100%. So yeah, I think Konami throws them a ball and gives them that searcher card back to three. Uh, we have Skullcrab Joker here. Sorry, I have to use a weird picture. This is the only one I can get to fit in this little tier thing. It's at two. Like it was getting the same. It's been getting the same treatment that Italy got. It was banned, and it got put to one. Then it got put to two, and I do think this list is goes to three. It didn't do anything at one. It didn't do anything at two. So I don't think it's gonna be too crazy at three. Simple enough. Just Joker. Colossus. Uh, mm-mm-mm. Colossus. I go back and forth with Colossus because sometimes I want to be like, hey, bro, put it at one. But then again, I think we come back. Ah, man. Nah, bro, it can't. I don't think Colossus come back. I don't think he can come back. Um, Cards. I think the cards are too crazy, and with it keeping your opponent from searching, I feel like it shuts off way too many things. It's imagine going first and you drop this against Drawtron. It's the handshake, bro. You can't do anything. Just extend the handshake of the game two, scoop it up, and pray you draw out games two and three, or some type of interaction game two and three. But yeah, I think that has to go. I think that has to stay where it's at. Verte Anaconda. I think, mm, I think this card gets banned, honestly, and I want it to get banned. It's such a crazy card, and I think it's a very we've all been there, right? We've been playing the game, and we opened our hand traps, and we've done everything right. We've hand trapped the right things. We've used things in the correct order. But then after all that, you're punished because they have two monsters on board, right? And they just make those two monsters in the anaconda. dump a Fusion Destiny and get their DPE, or dump a Red Eyes Fusion and get their Dragoon. It's I don't think that's very healthy for the game, honestly. I really don't. And if they and people want and if people want to play DPE, it forces them to it forces them to hard draw the Fusion Destiny, which is a okay with me. But I don't think you can completely do everything right as far as your hand trap goes and your interaction with your opponent, and you still get punished by them just having two monsters on board, and they get these two really big resource generating cards, or advantage generating cards in DPE and in Dragoon. Dragoon, a lot of people not playing Dragoon. Dragoon is still a bomb, bro. That card is still crazy. And last but not least, we have everyone's favorite spellcaster, El Shaddai Window. Mm. Um, Honestly, I heard people clamoring for Window to be banned. It's, I don't, I think banning Windows a lot. Honestly, I think it stays at three. I just throw it in here with the freedom. I don't think Windows gets touched. Honestly, and if it does, I'll swap it out with. It probably will get banned, and I'll probably swap it out with that. But I still think Windows is a big part of just the regular shutout strategy. And if you hit Apcolon, it makes it less splashable in other decks because it can't be sent off in a dear servant for just a small engine in other decks. So I also think when it goes untouched. All right, guys. All right, that is my list. That is my prediction video for this band list. These are my thoughts on these particular songs. I think I got 20 of them. I was most of these cards aren't. Some of these cards are just hot topic cards, just like Italy and like but Joker. No one's thinking about that. But these are my thoughts. This is how I feel about the upcoming list. I'm excited for the upcoming list. I'm really hoping for a big band list. I want things to really be shaken up in the meta. So with that being said, Bravo, while y'all signing out. Thanks, guys.